Obviously, we see her shooting, we see her passing, we see all that stuff on the floor, but a lot of that comes from a lot of hard work. She's in the gym almost all the time working on her game.
Let's run that. I think her ability to lead this team as a rookie, she's really starting to step into that role, and I think that's exciting to see as well.
Person has got that cachet, that marketability, that could have been selfish, was selfless, and thought not just about herself, but everybody.
Will Caitlin Clark have the greatest coach in basketball history? The Indiana Fever's unanticipated rise might be about to get considerably worse. According to sources, what would happen to Christie's team if Larry Bird joined, and what would Clark think? Both the Fever's chances of winning a championship and the WNBA as a whole may suffer greatly as a result. If you're enjoying this video, would you please subscribe before we continue? More than 98% of people watch without doing so, and we genuinely benefit from your support. I'm grateful. Going back to the story, it's ridiculous to think about how little the Fever were known just a short while ago. They were at the bottom of the league in addition to having problems.
Talk about greats in this game. You know, the Michael Jordans and the Kobe Bryants and the Steph Currys, they are putting her in that category, the Diana Taurasi's.
Clark now has an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that will include her own signature shoe. The deal is the richest sponsorship contract for a woman.
For 7 arduous seasons, the Fever failed to even qualify for the postseason. The stands were often half empty, and the arena itself had a dead vibe. Other teams perceived Indiana as an easy win, while the Fever seemed to be trapped in never-ending reconstruction. All of things altered the situation without providing a clear path. Caitlin Clark arrived. The Fever were in the news overnight after acquiring the biggest talent in college basketball with their first pick. Suddenly, those who had never thought about the Fever were paying attention, but excitement is followed by pressure. Clark wasn't just any prospect. He was a star at Iowa, recognized for easily compiling triple-doubles and nailing half-court jumpers. Could she continue to dominate the WNBA at that level? Expectations were high. Indiana was looking for a player, not just a good rookie, who has the ability to completely change their destiny. Clark was described as a generational talent with the potential to save the franchise. What's remarkable is that she has exceeded expectations rather than just meeting them. Even as a rookie, Clark has shown that he understands the game by performing. She routinely leads her team in points, assists, and rebounds like an accomplished veteran when it matters most. Her impact goes far beyond the box score. Clark has revitalized the Fever by making every game feel like an event. Because of her daring manner, great energy, and ability to unite her teams, fans who had previously ignored the Fever are now paying attention. People who have never watched the WNBA suddenly, they are watching the games with Clark. It's not only about winning. It's about creating basketball and Indiana must-watch entertainment once more.
College, I had teammates that were there with me for 4 years and were really comfortable playing with me. And then you come here and you have to learn your teammates in 2 weeks before you step on the court, and that can be really hard.
Let's run that. I think her ability to lead this team as a rookie, she's really starting to step into that role, and I think that's exciting.
Furthermore, Clark's impact goes beyond basketball and is revolutionizing the business sector. Season ticket sales have surged by more than 400%. Sponsors are stepping up to be connected with her name, ready to embrace the Caitlin Clark effect, even though they don't fully grasp why she's become such a phenomenon. The stadiums tell the story. Empty seats are now packed. And they're not just filled by regular fans. Influencers, celebrities, and others who had no prior interest in women's basketball are suddenly joining the new energy of the Fever on the court. Clark's intensity is electrifying. Every possession feels alive whenever she grabs the ball, but her influence doesn't stop when the game is over. She now has a voice on the squad and could potentially have an impact on decisions about coaching and direction. That brings us back to the main query. If Larry Bird entered this already tense situation, what would happen? Imagine the passion led by one of the greatest figures in basketball history. It seems like the ideal matchup with the WNBA's most promising new star on paper. Bird's credentials are unmatched. He became one of the most influential people in sports history as a player, winning 3 NBA titles and 3 MVP awards. His career set a standard that few could equal, and as a coach with the Indiana Pacers, he had an equally important impact. In addition to winning games, Bird helped the squad become a strong competitor in the Eastern Conference. His leadership and vision helped Indiana basketball maintain its respect and competitiveness. He has a history of assembling lineups, making tough choices, and fostering sustained success. If he applied the same expertise to the Fever, the franchise might have a lot of promise.
So we see her shooting, we see her passing, we see all that stuff on the floor, but a lot of that comes from a lot of hard work. She's in the gym almost all the time working on her game.
Like I said, she's a special player. She commands so much defensive attention. And I think that's one of the things that separates her in terms of...
Larry Bird's and the Indiana basketball run are closely related. From his days as a college student at Indiana State to his time spent shaping the Pacers, his influence has always been felt. He has never worked in women's basketball, which is a problem. Brings up important points. Coaching in the NBA is different from coaching in the WNBA. Experience has shown that men's coaches don't always adjust successfully, and the dynamics and style of play are different. Furthermore, fans of the WNBA are loyal to and protective of the league's culture. Therefore, such an action would elicit both excitement and skepticism. It's especially exciting because of the possible influence on Caitlin Clark. A mentorship from Larry Bird might be transformative. His knowledge, experience, and perspective would be invaluable to Clark as she grows not only as a player but also as the team's face and one of the league's biggest stars. It involves more than just honing one's skills on the court. It also involves knowing how to handle being the center of attention for a team and a public person who is responsible for the future of a league. She could gain an edge that boosts her influence with Bird's assistance.
Rookie of the Month has only been around since 2010, but she's the first player ever to win Rookie of the Month and Player of the Month.
Person has got that cachet, that marketability, that could have been selfish, was selfless, and thought not just about herself, but everybody. And
the main concern is whether Clark and Bird's strong personalities would complement one another, or if they would clash over leadership and vision. Bird's involvement might alter public perceptions of women's basketball off the court. His name alone is in the news. Additionally, since the Fever is already evolving into more than simply a team and a cultural figure, the attention would only grow. The stakes are really high. At the center of it all is Caitlin Clark, who has both revived the Fever and increased the team's potential. WNBA, her arrival resulted in sold-out venues, a 400% rise in ticket sales, and a flurry of commercial partnerships, completely transforming the franchise to this day. The concept of incorporating Larry Bird raises the bar even farther. His legendary status might boost Clark's influence and take women's basketball to new heights. But the dynamic might also challenge the team's leadership equilibrium. This brings us to the bigger picture. Could this be the start of a new trend? NBA legends joining the WNBA to shape its future. It's a workable solution that might change the sport forever. To understand how far things have come, it is important to remember where the Fever was. For 7 straight seasons, the team was unable to qualify for the playoffs. Opponents believed Indiana would win handily, the arena felt empty, and there weren't many fans. There seemed to be no clear path out of the team's never-ending rebuilding period. Caitlin Clark came next. After the Fever selected her with their first-round choice, everything abruptly changed. Clark was under tremendous pressure going into the game because of his reputation for dominating college basketball, making triple-doubles, and shooting simple half-court buckets. Whether she could do equally in the WNBA was the main worry. It was unclear if Caitlin Clark would be successful in the WNBA following her college graduation. Expectations were very high, especially for a team that desperately needed a turnaround. The remarkable thing is that Clark has not only met but surpassed their expectations by dominating games with the poise of an established veteran. Even as a rookie, she's been the one to make plays, score points, and grab rebounds when her team needed them most. But statistics are not the only way to measure her impact. Because of Clark, the Fever has turned into a basketball contest that everyone must watch. Her outstanding skills, unwavering passion, and natural ability to unite teammates have captivated both seasoned WNBA fans and others who had never watched women's basketball before. The impact extends far beyond the court. Sales of season tickets have gone up 100%, and the franchise's bottom line is booming. In an attempt to join the Clark boom, sponsors are pouring money into the market. Even though they don't fully comprehend it, Rena's once half-empty eyes are now full of life. The seats are now occupied by more than just fans. Participants include celebrities, influencers, and up-and-coming athletes. Clark's enthusiasm on the floor is contagious, inspiring others to join the action. She is now more than just a standout player and has the power to affect coaching and direction choices, and her influence on the team continues to increase. This takes us full circle to the central question: what would happen if Larry Bird were to enter this setting? On paper, envision Caitlin Clark, who has already become the face of the WNBA, working with one of the biggest names in basketball history, Larry Bird. It's challenging to assess the consequences of this choice, even though it appears to be the perfect blend of experience and emerging skill. Larry Bird's record as a player speaks for itself. In addition to winning 3 NBA titles and 3 MVP awards, he set the bar for dominance in the sport. Later, as head coach of the Indiana Pacers, he showed that he could lead both on and off the court by making them a serious competitor in the Eastern Conference, instead of merely winning games.